So I would like to show you my thesis project currently. Our thesis project in my group is made in fourth year, last semester. This is Bathala. It is a sorry, hold up. It is created using Phaser.js with TypeScript programming and using Node.js for the building of the application. As you can see here, most of the uh, code is TypeScript, such as the scenes, which is are like these. Imagine like in a movie, scenes. Basically, each scene is each screen you see in the game, and yeah, showing it. This is the code, and first we need to run it. It is hosted, but I would rather prefer you see it in localhost. First, we cd Bathala, and we npm run dev. Then we just go to that. There we go. So it loads. It's a web game. It doesn't really run that hard since it's pretty lightweight. So you can hear their music, but for clarity, I would just mute the music right now so that we can walk through it pretty easily. You can see it's showing the disclaimer. The game is inspired by Filipino mythology and folklore. Yep. This is the start screen. We have a dev mode currently for testing enemies. It's not finished yet. And there's a discover screen where you can see the information of each enemy you defeat after encounters. Currently it just lists them all since it's not finished yet. And when you pick play, it puts you in a prologue where it shows a story, currently text. So we're gonna skip that.
So hi everyone, today I'm showcasing the combat mechanics of our game Bathala. If you're a fan of Balatro or Slay the Spire, you'll feel right at home here. The combat is essentially a strategic fusion of the two. Before we dive right in, I highly recommend playing to our tutorial pace. We've worked hard to make it as intuitive as possible, especially for players who might not be as familiar with poker, as that's the foundation of our combat system. Let's do a quick run through of the tutorial here and see what you'll learn there. So perps up is the fundamentals, which is the four sacred elements. We have essentially apoy, tubig, lupa, and hangin. That applies direct buffs or debuffs depending on the dominant element you have. Next, we have card ranks and values. The logic here is simple. The higher rank cards lead to more powerful actions. Then we have hand types. If you know poker, you'll get this instantly. Basically, the better the hand, the stronger the output. So, for example, a flush will always pack more of a punch than a simple pair. Our tutorial also allows you to practice these specific hand combinations, but I'll let you practice them yourself. So let's skip this space for now. Next, we have combat actions. Basically, you have three primary paths after forming a hand. First is the attack, which deals damage based on your formed hand. Then there's the defend, which generates block based on your hand strength. Then there's special, which triggers a unique elemental abilities that vary depending on your hand. A tutorial lets you practice these combinations, and I recommend again running through them a couple times to really master the flow. But for now, let's actually skip ahead and see how the normal gameplay looks like. I'll be skipping the tutorial. So let's continue with the normal gameplay here. I'll try to find an encounter. This one looks good. Let's battle them. So right off the bat, let's try and see if we can form a strong hand. I'll be sorting through the rank and the suit to see if I can see something. There we go. We see a flush here. Let's try to attack them. For my first attack, I think I'll do a special. that basically gives the enemy a special debuff. In this case, it's a frail where their defend actions grant 25% less block, meaning their defense is less stronger. Let's try to find another card again. I can see a 5, 6, 7, but unfortunately we don't have a 4 or an 8, so we can't form a straight hand. I think I'll try to find a flush here. We almost have a straight card here, but we're still lacking something. Actually, we can form a straight with a flush with the 4 air cards we have here. So hopefully when I discard this, I get a air card. Oh, we got it. We got an air card. So let's play this. Let's play our hand and quickly do an attack. Next, I want to defend. Let's see if I have any good cards. I can actually form almost a flush here with the fire cards. But I think I'll do a 2 pair and let's try to defend this time. So the enemy also would click defend. Let's see what our next action is. Almost a flush and a straight here. I think I'll do the high risk play and discard these two. Actually, I'll discard this instead, so we can hope for a water flush. I think I did the wrong mistake. The fire flush was better. Let's see what cards we can form here. I think we shouldn't give up yet on the flush, so actually a straight is a possibility here. Never mind. I think it's a straight this time. So we will attack. We almost beat the enemy. So let's try again. Form another attack. Think one more turn, we'll beat the enemy. We have 6, 9, 5, 6. I think a 2 pair is good enough here. Let's add in the king for extra damage. There we go. That's the main combat. I didn't mention the spare and slay mechanic, but I think it'll counter what exactly it does once you play the game. Basically, it affects the narrative choice. I think a choice here is to spare the Sigbid Charter. So that's it, everyone, for the gameplay demo of the combat mechanics.
So let's talk about the map generation and the day night cycle of Bathala card game. So we go play. Let's just skip the intro and tutorial. Okay. So as we spawn into the game, a map seed is created, and from that seed, the overall map is made. So when we spawn in, the game actually creates the map in chunks. It does not create it as a whole at once, because that would be resource intensive and would cause lag. So it would create it in chunks, and it would be stitched together, and it would follow rules as it was stitched together. So there would be no dead ends, or at least useless dead ends, that would keep the gameplay effective and engaging. So as we move forward, you can see the progress bar at the top, indicating the day-night cycle. So each movement I do counts as one step towards the preceding cycle. So right now, 1 or 2 moves, and we will be going to night. And there we go. So as we continue into the night, it changes the view of the character. It limits the sight of the character. And as you can see, the enemies and NPCs start to move around. And the movement works as the player moves first, and then the time moves. So as we move, only then it would move. It does not predate movement or the time. And as we move again, we go to the next cycle, we go to the day, and there we go. Our sight increases, and as we explore the map, as you can see, there's no dead ends. And as we move around also, more chunks is made by the seed, and we connect each other seamlessly. And we're going to keep moving until we go to the far end of the day-night cycle progress bar and go to the boss. All right, we are now nearing the boss level. As you can see, boss progress 89%, and the top day-night cycle progress bar is now moving. So as we continue on, it is now the final night of the level. We're now going to go to the boss at the final stages. So boss progress is 100%, and it's almost at the very end of the day-night cycle bar. So last move, and then there we go. We now go to the final boss level at the end of the day-night cycle.
So right now we're gonna be demonstrating the different types of occurrence, encounters, or events in the game. So first one we're gonna be encounter, like you can hover this, mysterious event. Or so we're gonna be encountering this one. So in this types of occurrence, you will be different types of narrative or situation that you will be encountering. So in this one, we encounter the sacred grove. Look, you enter a group of ancient trees, their branches reaching towards the sky like praying hands. They are still silent, filled with a sense of reverence. So there's a two option or choices that you will be picking on. So if you this is a good type of occurrence because you can heal. It's like as you can see in this first option, rest in the grove. You can fully heal the HP, but you can also choose to move on if your HP is full. And actually, we're gonna be try to move on because our HP is full and we're not actually encountering some combat. So we're gonna be move on. And there's the event outcome. You can pay respect and continue on your journey. So we're gonna be explore some more. Oh, this is the merchant shop encounter. So we're gonna be encountering this one here in the merchants or mysterious merchant that you are seeing. This is the relic shop of the game or the shop system of the game, where you can now be chose to buy some relics that will be huge impact to your game or the combat. So in this one, Earth Warden's well, plate. I mean, you can show the description or lore description of this type of relics, but can also see what is the effect of this earth pardon split. So forged from the sacred linga stones of the mountain spirits and gain 1+1 block at the start of each turn. So if it is a combat type or defense type relic, so we will be purchasing this item. So the price is 150. So as you can see, our gold has now been reduced to 9849 compared to the earlier 9999. And this the reason that we have 99 into is for the demonstration purposes only. So the next one is we tried this ancestral blade. So here's the lore and description or the item effect or relic effect. Right, purchase this one, and that's it. So we can now leave the shop since we are unable to buy some relics. But you can also choose to leave the shop without buying an item or relic. So the next encounter will be chose to find is there's an ancient treasure chest that will be encountering. So in this type of occurrence, that there will be three options that you can choose to. And there's an option to show a relic, but there's an option to show an ocean HP. However, in this one, in the possibility of chances of appearing the potion, there's a high chance that in this out of the potion will appear. So, but this one there's a one, a Mongo Claw. So this relic effect relic item that you can be choose, and this is the Chanak tier. And you can also see the item description of this and this one also. So we'll be now using to have a Mongo Claw or chat. You now be choosing to acquire this Chanak tier. You can now see the Chanak tier in our inventory, and also you can see the previous purchase into the merchant shop. So now we're gonna be find a bonfire or campfire. So we try to be explore some more to find a campfire occurrence. As this is the last occurrence of the game or event. I mean, so this one after all your combat, you can now choose to rest or this the save or the resting place of the player that you can choose to. So in this bonfire you have four option or choices that you can do. You can also heal at the same time, purify. So what does purify mean? Remove a card from deck. or permanently eliminate weakness. So what does it do? You can choose to remove this type of card, like six of cards, seven of card, but only one card you can purify, one card at a time. So we will now be purifying four of two big. So what can actually do? So purifying a card can decreases the chance. I mean, can increase the chance of showing a good combination to your card or customizing your deck. So it's like a deck sculpting. So in Purify, there is an attune. So earlier we remove a four of too big. So because we remove that, we'll be having to customize our cards to show a good combination or score in the game. So we will actually attuning this five of too big, or two of too big to become three of too big. As you can see, you can now choose to view the deck that we tune. So earlier there's a two of too big, but now it's become three of too big, and the four of too big it's now gone. So we'll be having more chances, or decreases the chance to increases the chance of showing three of too big, and you can now also, yeah, as I said earlier, combine good combination of tactics to your gameplay. So we can now leave the bomber. I think that is all in the types of occurrence of our game. So the number one we counter is the mysterious events. Mysterious events or encounters, merchant shop, the ancient treasure, and lastly is the bonfire.
So the Bathala DDA, or the dynamic difficulty adjustment algorithm, is used in our game to ensure that the player has a very adjustable experience, such as that whenever they're doing good, the game adjusts to a way that it makes it more challenging for them. And when, for example, when a player does bad, the game adjusts into making the game much more easier for them by giving them a lot of help. For example, making the shop prices lower, making the enemy health and damage lower, and so forth, so on and so forth. So for example, I'm gonna show you the shop prices here. They start at the base level, but whenever they're doing bad or good, it would adjust so. So first, I will show you how it looks during combat. So before I show it here, as you can see on the top right, the DDA can starts at 2.5 BPS, which is the learning tier. This is the default tier we set the dynamic difficulty adjustment system at, since it's pretty much the normal difficulty of our game. And before it starts calibrating the game, turning it, adjusting the difficulty and all that, it calibrates up to 3 combat encounters before it actually changes the game, to ensure that it adjusts actually into how the player acts and plays the game, not instantly, since maybe they encounter a very hard enemy on their first combat encounter, which would be pretty unfair. So we decided to make it so that it only adjusts after 3 combat turns. And um however the player does, the dynamic difficulty adjustment changes. So example here, I beat the enemy, I gain a huge portion of PPS, 1 to be exact, 1 PPS, because it only took me 3 combat turns with so minimum health lost. I only lost 5 health, as you can see right now in the screen. And I can choose to spare and slay. So let's move on to that. We can show you another combat encounter where I took a lot more turns, as you can see on the top right. 4 plus turns, up to 6, 7, 8. I took 8 combat turns to finish the game. And we'll see in a minute how it turns out. So you can see I only gained 0.6. I only gained 0.6 because even though I did pretty good, I didn't lose a lot of health. I still took a lot of turns to beat the enemy, which means I had a pretty I was good, but I had a pretty bad time fighting the enemy. And so let's go to an encounter where the DDA actually changes the difficulty of the game. the different factors. So I beat this guy, and I get the thriving. I get the thriving. The PPS shoots up to 3.80. Oh no, it actually lowers. My bad. I did pretty bad here, as you can see. I had 45 health left, and it took me 11 turns to finish the game. So the DDA saw that I'm actually doing pretty bad. So it lowers the DDA, as you can see, 3.8 from 4.1. It lowers it since it detected that, oh, this guy's doing pretty bad. And it lowers the gold it lowers the gold input, and you can't see it right now since it's still the same scene, but as you can see, it's now 110%, which will be shown in the next combat encounter. There, as you can see, the next combat encounter, since I'm from 2.5, I went to 3.8, it went to thriving, which now shows the enemy having plus 10% health, as you can see here. From 200 HP, they went to 220. From damage of 36, they went to 40. And you can actually see this during a shop encounter. So you can see here the price from 120 it went to 132. Same as other shop prices, they increased. Pretty much making it harder for the player, making it more challenging, and not just staying at the base price, so that the game actually feels more challenging for them. And I can show you another clip where the shop price actually lowers for players who are doing bad with a DDA score of, let's say they're a thriving below, they're struggling before the thriving DDA tier. As you can see here, the shop goes on sale. From 150, the item went to 120, making all the items lower price so that it helps the player catch up more. And that is how the DDA system works in our game. From health and damage into shop prices and more. That is all.